Hi everyone. We are Group 51 and we are going to be presenting our project Multimodal Document Question Answering for Research Papers. We are trying to solve the problem of open source models, of using open source models for multimodal question answering. The first issue is that most of the existing question answering systems do not include images, which contain a lot of crucial information in answering user queries about research papers. So research papers contain a rich amount of information in tables and figures, which are mostly ignored, uh, which uh, which is reducing the quality of the answers and the questions that users can get answered through them. So one of the main challenges is finding the correct image uh, from all the images in the research paper, and the problem of inference on long context. So for this, we're going to be using the Speaker benchmark. So the Speaker benchmark is a benchmark for scientific question answering on images. The Speaker benchmark contains the reference figure, which is an inherent flaw of the Speaker benchmark, because in a real world question answering system, the model wouldn't know which image is required to answer to answer the user query, and it would have to to find that image by itself. So this is why we're working on on an image retriever. Um, so uh, so we used a clip-based model for the for image retrieval, where we encode the question and an image to get the embeddings, and we trained this for 5 epochs on 10,000 queries from the train set of Speaker, where we created the data sets by ourselves by using the reference figure as the positive image and as the positive anchor, and randomly sampled the negative anchor from rest of the images. And we trained this using the triplet margin loss, which essentially increases the difference, the distance between the positive and the negative anchors. Um, so moving on to long context, I will talk about this.
Sure. So in order to solve the problem of long context, we're basically referring to the approach from the Q1 technical report. This report contains two main parts. One is dual chunk attention, another is sparse attention. Our focus is basically to tune the parameters of chunk attention and some of the sparse attention. Right, so let's go a bit deeper into these two parts. So for the dual chunk attention, we are basically dividing the sequence into chunks. Therefore, we're calculating the positions. We are not calculating positions between tokens. Instead, we're calculating between chunks. In that case, we're having like better performance when the context length is longer. For the sparse attention part, we are basically at inference time, we are creating sparse masks to let the model just focus on a specific fraction of the sequence, such that we have better performance when the context is like long.
So moving to the preliminary results and discussions. We have results for our clip model for image retrieval on the Speaker test set. So that comprises of 666 examples. Given a question and a research paper, so the clip-based model is able to retrieve the right image on the first try, 29.43% of the time, and 56.61% of the time in 3 attempts, and 71.62% of the time in the top 5 attempts. So this is because many of the papers contain over 10 images, and because of this, the clip model struggles. And there were also papers where the number of images were 28. So due to this, retrieving the right image becomes difficult for a small model like clip, which contains only 110 million parameters. This is why we believe that um, experimenting with bigger and better vision language models for image retrieval would yield better results. Um, Moving to the conclusions, building an accessible multimodal QA system for answering questions on research papers would require us to solve these key issues: image retrieval. So in a real world situation, the model doesn't know the right image to what the right image is for a user query, and also the problem of long context, which we are trying to solve using sparse attention, as open source models are trained on shorter context lengths, and struggle when we increase the context. Thanks for watching.